Yo, we are back in Forza Horizon 6, and we're continuing my little series that I've started where I just sort of talk about life in Japan. I've been here 15 years. I answer a few questions that people have about living in Japan, because I had some people ask a few questions in the comments of the last video. And generally just take a bit of a break from the usual BMX Street session content, chill for a bit, have a good time. So let's get into it. So first off, thank you to everybody that did choose to comment and ask me some questions. I'll try and cover as much of those as I can. I think I released a video in the meantime as well as asking for comments. I'll probably deal with that in another video after this. I'll get through them all in the end. Don't worry about it. One of the main questions I got... I should actually try driving properly. Driving and racing at the same time will probably break my brain. So I'm just sort of going to chill a little bit, not go too crazy. But one of the first questions was about how did I get to Japan? Like, I've got permanent residency now, which means I can stay in Japan permanently. I have to go update my residency card every 7 years, but that's just basically kind of like updating a credit card. It's a very simple process. You don't need to like prove anything anymore. Once you've gone through it once, you're kind of set. But originally I studied Japanese at university in England. Studied it for 4 years. Had a year abroad as well at a Japanese university. That's part of the course. Then in my 4th year I looked for a job at a Japanese company. There was barely any options available, so I just chose what was there. Turned out it was a bit of a crap company, to be honest. I left after about a year. And then after that I got straight into localization, translation work. Before I went, actually, I already had the kind of highest level Japanese... I can't remember what it's called now. JLPT, Japanese Language Proficiency Test. N1 is the highest. I think it's still N1. Or is it IQ? I can't remember. Whatever it is that's the highest at the minute. In my 4th year, I passed that test, which is probably one of the most important things, especially when you're at university, because you don't really have any experience otherwise. So just proving that you can speak Japanese, like write, etc. well. Actually, the JLPT doesn't really prove that you can speak. Probably read it and write it, but can you actually communicate properly is a different issue. In my case, it wasn't really an issue, so that sort of worked itself out. For a lot of people who don't study Japanese or study it a little bit, they have to go to Japan as a teacher. An ALT, either like the official government route of doing it, which doesn't pay very well. You just sort of get thrown in a random place in Japan to fend for yourself. The only problem with that route is you're going to struggle to get out of it, because qualifications wise, actually in some places they don't want you to use Japanese, so you're going to struggle to actually improve your Japanese in those sort of situations. But also English schools, they're just in Tokyo and places like that as well. Some have some really bizarre rules apparently about you don't speak any Japanese to the kids. I don't know, it doesn't make much sense, but I've not really heard many positive experiences of people in those sort of lines of work. But if that's your only way to get here, then maybe that's what you have to do. One thing I should mention is my nationality is still British. It's not citizenship. I can do that process to become a Japanese citizen, which I may do in the end, because it will give me voting rights, and seeing as I plan to be in Japan the rest of my life, maybe the safest option in case any kind of immigration rules get a lot weirder or stricter. I'm liking the rain. This is kind of my perfect vibe, like driving in the rain. I don't want to drive too boring, actually. If you think that worrying, I'm going to do some drifting later on. I mentioned in the last video, something about being in Japan makes me want to follow the rules. I know, it's a Forza Horizon game and it's so stupid, it doesn't matter. There's something about smashing the place up feels slightly weird. I don't really have a destination in mind either. I'm just sort of going all over the place. I say follow the rules. I'm still driving like a bit of an arsehole, but oh well. If I drove too slow, it'd probably be a pretty boring video. But yeah, maybe at some point in the next few years, I'll change my citizenship as well. I was lucky because when I got my permanent residency, it was still very cheap to finish the process. It was like 7,000 yen, which is what, 50 quid? Now, from this year, it's actually been changed to a few thousand, which a lot of people have complained about. It's actually kind of in line with other countries. I want to head towards Tokyo. I don't know which way would be best to go, but well. So yeah, it's more in line with other countries in terms of what you have to pay in the end. But still, I'm glad I kind of avoided that. In terms of like cultural differences that I noticed, I didn't really struggle too much when it came to adapting to Japan. It's maybe easier for British people because we're all kind of, well, I don't know, not everybody. British people are kind of reserved and don't really want to make too much fuss for other people anyway, for the most part. It's kind of a similar vibe. Just like reading the room, basically, and not being a loud, annoying arsehole. If you're okay at that sort of thing, then you're probably going to be okay. There's maybe some tedious things when it comes to work and things like that. But that kind of depends on the company. If you're with other foreigners, then you all kind of get it. You can just sort of talk to each other about how nonsensical some things can be. Even without, like, I don't know. Some people seem to think Japanese people are cold, especially people from Tokyo. Well, not really. You just talk to them. Providing you have the ability to do so. It's completely fine. In fact, the majority... Okay, I'll just throw in random Japanese there. Pretty much everybody I know here is Japanese. Only the people on my team that I work with are foreigners. Apart from that, all my friends are Japanese. And yeah, I have no problem talking with them about various things. They have no problem opening up with me about stuff as well. Maybe it takes a little longer, but then again, there's people in the UK as well who are pretty unwilling to talk about what's going on in their life and things like that. So not really much of a difference on that end. If you're open, then it's easier for them to be open, is what I find as a general rule with anybody in life. Seems like I picked a pretty good time to like get into the game today. Like this sort of rainy countryside vibe is kind of what I needed. I've been spending a little while trying to figure out what's been going on with BMX Streets. I downloaded Yaki's map. Look at this. Vibes. Yeah. Yaki's map won't download properly through mod.io. I'm fucked out. It's not an insignificant amount of money to get that game working, or to get that map, and to pay for Mashbooks. Like, what was it? You can only purchase in like fixed amounts for Mashbooks, so I got 1,000, which was like 1,300 yen, maybe £10, $10, something like that, for a single map. I'd understand if it was like proper DLC, but it's not. I don't know, nothing against Yaki, like the map looks great and everything, it's just whatever Mash has got going on with that on mod.io is broken, so I can't even download it and play it. Tried doing it through the website. My mod.io account, which I use on my browser, is different to that on BMX Streets. And there's some sort of DRM with it as well, so you can't just get it working like that. Tried linking the accounts, making it all the same account, even then doesn't work. Maybe at this point, by the time the video comes out, it'll all be fixed. But honestly, that combined with the way the game feels is just sort of left me feeling I can't be bothered to play this game anymore. Like so many empty promises. or waiting for stuff to happen. And how many years has it been at this point? And we're still waiting. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not one to constantly complain about that sort of stuff. I think I've held out longer than a lot of people. Especially because of the way I play, maybe. I can still gain some fun out of it. Yeah, safe to say this is kind of my vibe game right now. It probably will be for a long while as well. I remember getting into a similar position with 4 set in the UK. It was just sort of fun to blast around in the countryside and things like that. And this is even better, honestly. It is very much more of the same. I've pretty much done everything at this point. There's lots of like little things like taking photos of all the cars and stuff like that. But it's best to leave a few things open, keep doing over time, otherwise it'll just get kind of stale maybe. Maybe we should start drifting a little bit. Oh god. So we had to get into a chaser right in front of Tokyo Tower. I almost said Tokyo Station. Still do think it's weird that we don't have the Sky Tree, seeing as that's kind of the larger landmark at this point. Maybe the Tokyo Tower's a bit more iconic though. I had a question, if I had a car, what would my ideal car be? Honestly, I think if we're talking just sort of dream car, it'd probably be a GTR, what I was just driving before. Though I do like Fair Lady as well. Don't know why I like Nissan cars so much. Just a coincidence, I think. In a more practical sense, if you wanted a fun car, especially considering living in Japan, I think an MX-5 would actually be a really good choice. Because it's a reasonable price, it's fun to drive, it's not all about top speed and going crazy. Because that's one thing, I think people are kind of obsessed with horsepower and straight line speed and all that stuff. It's kind of like skewing people's perspectives on what's fast or not. I think if you had like an MX-5, it would be a reasonable... You'd be able to push it to its limit and still be in like a reasonable speed, but you can actually drive it normally. I know people kind of consider it like a hairdresser's car or something like that, but I think car enthusiasts are very much into them. Maybe those that are there more for the image and trying to be cool or whatever probably wouldn't like it. I've never really been one for any of that nonsense, so I just drive what I like, to be honest. I haven't actually drifted much in this car, so I'm not sure why I'm choosing now of all time just to try and figure it out. But hey, here we are. Safe to say I have quite a few different cars set up. A bunch of drift ones. A bunch of like time attack cars, different things. There's something satisfying about just sort of picking a car, getting it looking right, getting it feeling right for whatever purpose you want, just adding it to your collection like that. I know there can be a bit of a feeling of just being overloaded by cars. If you take the time to like maybe build your own little favourite collection out of what's there, it's a bit more fun. I don't really want to be on the highway, I don't think, for this. We'll come back to the mountains. Probably a more natural place to be right now. I'm filming this in the summer season. And true to life, it's raining quite a lot. It's also got that kind of like don't know, I've never really been to the mountains that much. That kind of like humid haze over everything. It's a bit misty everywhere. Anybody that wants to come to Japan, never come in the summer. Like, the period from now on is hell. When it starts getting humid. There's a thing called Tsuyu, which is like the rainy season. Once that's done, basically the humidity starts until like October. In some cases, even November at this point. It's just this kind of oppressive moisture to everything. I've even seen people from places like Florida and things like that say like it feels a bit different here for whatever reason. It's maybe not necessarily hotter, but the way the humidity is feels kind of gross. I'm guessing it feels gross in places like Florida as well, to be honest. But just like try looking it up on Reddit, like people from other humid places, their experiences of the humidity here. It's probably even worse in other parts of Asia, to be fair. But I don't know. It's not a battle to see who's the most uncomfortable. I'd just rather avoid it all completely. It's especially bad if you travel, because it would mean you want to be looking around at stuff, but you're basically subject to awful temperatures and nonsense. I just wouldn't recommend it. Wait until like November, December, through to maybe June at the very latest, if you can. Then you'd have a much better time. I kind of prefer, actually maybe autumn, just because it means it's the furthest away from dealing with the humidity again. It's probably the time of year I go out the most, because I've been bunkered up in my room, house, whatever. Because I work from home as well. Pretty much just inside all the time during the summer. I'm aware I'm not the best drifter in the world. I don't know, I could put it together. It's just probably not super clean or as controlled as some crazy people that do that stuff all the time. It is pretty easy to drift in this game. Like if you wanted to learn, this would probably be a pretty good start. The drift points in this game is kind of a different thing. It's just more spamming stuff as much as possible to get as many points rather than doing it clean or well. Right now, I'm not paying attention to the points. This car may be a little bit underpowered. I tend to be going pretty slow through everything with this car. But it kind of fits the vibe, you know? Also, I kind of like how the smoke's getting kind of illuminated on the side. See it there, on the right. That's pretty cool. It's just nice to have a game that's not stressing me out. So to finish up, try a little time attack with the MX-5, seeing as I mentioned it earlier. I really like these little time attack circuits, because they kind of favour slower, slightly less crazy driving. My image of Forza Horizon, especially in Mexico, because it was so wide open, was just everybody having the most ridiculous, overpowered cars. Maybe it's because there's like smaller roads, more tighter circuits. It's actually fun to drive slower cars like this. Screwed up the gears. Actually, talking while doing a time attack is probably the worst thing to do, to be honest. Overall, this video's kind of been a bit of a vibe. Going around the mountains in the rain. Bit of a drift around Tokyo. And the Torgate. Now a nighttime time attack. This is all I need really for a good time. What is on the horizon, by the way? Forget the pun. In terms of like BMX skateboarding games, is Rollout Inline, which now has a proper Discord set up. That's kind of the big, interesting looking thing that's to come. I don't know if there's much else. There's all those skateboarding games that are kind of half in development, but you never know what's going on with them. The Skate Style, which I've kind of forgotten about, because it hasn't really had many updates. Is there anything else going on to look forward to? Like sim-wise? At some point we do have to put Session and BMX Streets to bed maybe, because how long can we keep going through this loop of kind of half expectation, half disappointment? Okay, it's maybe a bit harsh for Session. I do like that still. Still probably going to be a forever game. But in terms of like making content, I don't know if I could play that forever, to be honest. I don't know, maybe I could. Streets, it's just fatigue, really. Never having the game kind of reach its potential. It's probably the most disappointing thing. You're just feeling kind of bad all the time. Screwed that one up. Yeah, feels like it's a weird situation all around. That's why I wanted to play this for a change. I don't want to like deviate too much and turn this channel into something where you just don't know what I'm doing most of the time. But you've got to diversify it a little bit just to keep it interesting for me. Also probably for people watching as well. I'm surprised the session videos are getting so many views, but it's maybe a bit of a reaction to Skate being what it is. I may go back to playing a little bit of Skate actually. Just trying to like be chill and do it my style. Because even with all my misgivings about monetization side, like I don't really want to spend any money on that game. If there is something new and interesting to it, maybe worth trying it out. We'll see. Just so I'm not looping this forever. I'll just drive around somewhere else as well. This is basically how my evenings go. I just sort of get in a car that I want to drive, have a bit of fun, go off somewhere else, switch between drifting and cruising. And like real talk, this is kind of the easiest video to do because I can just keep talking, don't have to edit. Like Session, I got to cut a million times. All the different tricks and like times I fail and all that stuff. I'm also happy I turned the ray tracing on. Oh dear. And it's still managing to hold with me filming everything on OBS. So hopefully this turns out okay. We're finally hitting sunlight again. Bit of mist over the water. Ruined it. Killed the vibe. The other fun thing to do is just sort of like look at these sort of places and see what is this place? Soba. It's soba restaurant. Also kind of a touristy place. Oops. Irashaimase. Yeah, like looking at the details of some of the houses and stuff, they've packed in tons of crazy stuff. The way these like greenhouse style things, the nets, it's all very like authentic. They could definitely imagine this. Watching Japanese YouTubers like go around Maruyama store. So what would that be? Don't mind me. Look a bit to Kokoku. I guess it's just it looks like a house though. What are you selling? It's a store, but it looks like somebody's living room. Anything here? Check around. You get a drink. There's a post box. I guess it's just supposed to be like a little combini type thing. Say it's non-Japanese devs making it though. They did a very good job. I guess they got Japanese people in to kind of like help with the little details. Did a very good job. So if you've been driving around here and then you go to Tokyo, you probably feel like it's a pretty good match. Or if you've already been, you may kind of feel the English isn't coming out. Natsukashi. That's the other thing. If you live here too long, you kind of get broken. I'm surprised I can still speak English properly, to be honest. Because I was kind of speaking broken English to people who want to speak to me in English. I kind of make it understandable to them, otherwise I just won't get it. It also, like, makes my own English kind of terrible in the process. Sometimes the Japanese word comes out first as well. That's not meant to be a flex or anything, it's more like, if I go back to the UK, people have, I've had it happen before, somebody's like, why do you speak so weird now? It's like, I don't know, I'm broken. Look at this. Little coastal break. You know what? I think we'll leave it there. It's kind of a perfect little loop. I don't know if... I think I covered most of the questions. It wasn't too many, so it wasn't that hard to deal with. I didn't know whether to, like, say everybody's name and then read out the comment properly, or just sort of cover it like this. Whichever works. If you have any more questions, it doesn't even have to be about Japan or anything. I'll probably come back, cruise around again, do something different, show off some different cars. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.